All right, welcome to the Black Ibis Social Club. Hope you guys all had a great 2 weeks since we last hung out. I was thinking about you guys today. I was trying to come up with some topics, going through the answers to questions everybody made. So I was driving down the bridge. Right, I left work kind of early because I had a physical therapy appointment, and my physical therapist tortured me today. But for all you guys, like, you should be proud of me. Like, all across the board, I'm like ready to like lift. I'm ready to hit the iron. I'm excited. And she said, "Hey, you get to go now. You can start doing all kinds of crazy workouts." So that's good, man. I recovered. I recovered hard. Fisto, turn off your fucking beeping sound.
What beeping sound? Oh no, I
it's from.
apologize.
It's from the. It's like the chat. Um, but yeah, I was driving down. I was driving down a river. I mean, down the road, crossing the rivers, and I crossed these two bridges on my way home. And there was a thunderstorm ahead of me, and I could see the lightning hit the ground. Just it was to the left and to the right. It was just sunny and beautiful South Carolina, like low country swamp kind of marshland. And I don't know if you guys have ever been down to South Carolina. It has some of the most beautiful skies. I mean, California,
Yeah,
the West Coast, has beautiful skies, but they're different. It's a different kind of sky than it's here. The sky down here is like cotton candy. It has this cotton candy look to it, like, and the clouds are fluffy. But in front of me, it was like just darkness, just the gray clouds and just lightning. Like, I could see the lightning strikes. And I was like, well, that's kind of cool. Maybe I'll get hit by lightning. I've never been hit by lightning. Have you ever been hit by lightning before, Fisto?
no, no, I've never been hit by lightning.
But you get
The
superpowers if you get
closest,
hit by lightning. That's like Powder.
yeah,
Remember that movie Powder?
yeah. Well, the
You
closest
become
I've
like
ever
a you
been,
become like Billy Corgan, like some kind of pale retard, and you can like
yeah,
heal people.
this will make you laugh. The closest I've ever been to getting struck by lightning was actually at church. I had forgotten something in the car, and I went out to go get it, and I was like, "Ooh, I better hurry up because I got to be back before service starts." And as I was walking back from my car, it was like probably a good maybe like 30 yards away, just crack, boom. And I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna fucking hurry
Just
up.
smashed you.
Get my ass
Wild.
inside. Yeah, it was actually it got the fight or flight going immediately. So that
That
was
actually
fun.
that happened to me in California. There was a lightning strike, and it hit a tree like rear, like next to where we were standing, and that was pretty damn scary. Like, and he cracked the tree in half, and but
Nice.
here in South Carolina, it's a lot more stormy than California. Like, California is a lot more dry desert. I mean, we have some beautiful storms in California, but not as much as here in South Carolina. And it's I've been here for, man, almost 4 years now. I've been
Yeah,
a South Carolinian for almost 4 years, and I'm not used to how wet it always is. Everything,
yeah.
it just feels wet all the time, and the
Wet.
soil. Like, you could have a beautiful sunny day, and you touch like my grass in my backyard, or just the dirt in my backyard, or anywhere, and it's just wet. Like,
Yeah,
everything is always moist. There's never
yeah,
any like there's never any dryness at all, and it's
yeah.
the leaves are always wet. Everything's just wet all the time, and it's interesting. Everything smells like earthy and like decomposing, and
The
there's
smell
like
of moisture.
maggots
Moisture,
everywhere. Yeah,
Alex.
moisty
Moist.
maggots squirming
Moist.
in all the grass. You know.
Yeah, yeah, we're that time of year. We're in that time of year now where we get a thunderstorm literally every afternoon. And it's
Right.
not
So
like
it
a
was here.
little, it's not like a little, crackly crack. It's straight up, straight up the power's going out every day.
Right. I wanted to go. I wanted to go to the pool this afternoon. I wanted to go to the
Oh
pool,
yeah, no, no, no,
and
no.
it was just like lightning storms and everything.
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's
man,
just
I kind of wanted to do
get
like
murked. Get murked.
like a pool day with my daughter before she starts school tomorrow, and I'm like, oh, man. But you know what I found
No.
out?
What'd you find out?
That the Highlander films,
Yes.
right, are all fiction.
Dude, that blew my mind. That blew my mind. I could not believe like this entire fucking time. This entire fucking time I thought they were documentaries about Sean Connery's life. And then I find out
Did you
that they're
see that
not.
post?
That was great. That was
What?
great.
I'm not like. Are you like what? for you guys, there was this like random post, and this guy posted like he posted like the original post was a um it was like the back of a Nissan Highlander like
Toyota Highlander,
SUV.
Toyota Highlander.
Yeah, yeah, Toyota Highlander, right?
Yeah,
And it
Toyota
has
Highlander.
like five stick men decapitated, and the sixth stick man he's holding like a sword, you know. And
Yeah,
obviously it's a reference to the movie Highlander where
hilarious,
there can only be
hilarious
one,
joke.
and right. And
Great joke.
the guy like some randos like, yeah, I watched those Highlander films, good but all fiction. And I'm like, what? Like I don't like. Is he? And then Jack Kidder's like, good point. I'm
That was
like,
awesome. Yeah,
like,
good point.
are we being serious here, or are we just the straight up schizo world? You know, I like, I don't know. Wasn't there
That's
supposed to
been
be a remake of the Highlander movies made, or
oh,
was there
I
was
don't
it
know.
made and like I completely missed it?
I think what's so funny about that post is that it seems to be like you made the joke before we started that it seems like I've been fighting with people all week,
Yeah,
and I'll explain why. I'll explain why shortly. But I think part of it is that in the past couple of weeks, there's been this glut of humorless, like every joke is an opportunity to flex my debate muscles, my argument skills, and it's just like, dude, shut up! It's a
right,
joke.
right. You know,
Like,
we need to come to the
bro,
realization, all of us that have been on Substack since, because I think I've been on Substack since like the first month.
years, years,
Yeah,
yes,
God, like
many
those
years,
like those pictures I posted about like in Papua New Guinea and stuff. I was
yeah,
actually on Substack then. Like
yeah.
there's like
Oh yeah,
early posts.
I was in Poland. I was in Poland when I was on Substack
Right. So like
years ago.
man, and it was we just have to come to the sad realization that it's never going to be that fun again. When
No,
like the
no.
majority of people, it's like that's the problem. At first, it's all the cool kids,
Oh
and
yeah,
then it's like any party, any group, you know, and then the dorks start showing up, and then the really dorky people like show up, and like, you know, the internet. Like, sadly, I feel like young people are not on the internet for the most part anymore, so only like retarded boomers are on the internet, and it's just like the most. And but have you ever been on Facebook recently?
I
I think one
actually
of those.
just looked. I actually just looked at Facebook. I created an account recently
Oh, it's so
because
bad.
all of the quote unquote discourse in my town happens on
Oh my God.
Facebook.
That's
So
the
I
only.
never look at it. I never look at it. But yeah, no,
It is
it's just
bad, bro. Like
yeah.
if you get like in some stupid like the one good thing like the good thing about like algorithms and like AI algorithms that we kind of like are trapped in like my Instagram algorithm for example is amazing. It gives me like arty pictures about like Eurotrash stuff, anime, um, Eurotrashy, Japan trashy anime, 1980s like Japanese city pop, and a bunch of racisms. You know, that's basically all like I
And a
get
bunch
on
of
Instagram.
racisms, plural.
Yeah, and
That's
like
great.
stuff about like stuff about Daisy like videos and stuff. You know, um,
That's pretty solid, man.
but sometimes you get out of your algorithm and you end up in like other people's like world. It's like literally going through like a portal, you know? Like
Yeah,
you go on Facebook and you're like, "Oh my God, is this how people really are?" You know, like this like
yeah.
boomer brain, you know, like boomer
Oh yeah.
slop or like normie stuff. Or or even on Substack sometimes if you like you accidentally like that's why like if you notice I try not to argue with people you argue with because that's gonna like
Yes.
it's like letting a cockroach into your house, bro. And like you bring
Yeah.
one, and then like it lays its eggs, its slices or whatever, and it
Yes.
drops its egg sack, and then all the other retards show up, and now like
Yes.
you're reading like Black Twitter, and it's just like straight up the most retarded shit on the planet, you know? Like,
Yes. Yes. The key is to have a autocannon armed robot. That is the key. So the moment a cockroach shows up, just the entire area is destroyed. It is nuke it from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
right. Like the other day, I made the mistake of like looking at guns or something like that. I don't know what I was looking at. I was like looking at gun videos on Instagram. And
Yes.
you can't just look at like I was looking at like my buddy and I were I was sitting at work and we were looking at videos from like the 80s with the Romanian made AK, which has this forward dongle grip thing. All right. I don't know if you're ever
Okay.
familiar with like the Romanian made AKs has this forward grip. Like it's like, I don't know. It looks cool. And that, of course, led me to like American gun stuff. And gun stuff, it's adjacent to like really gay, like mustache beard oil stuff. You know what I mean? Like the dudes that are like selling you, they're like, quit Zins, take this special dip thing that makes you smart and blah blah blah. It's like the Black Rifle coffee stuff, you know, like
Yeah.
that kind of shit,
Yeah.
right? And that stuff is gayer than like a gay disco in New York in 1988. Okay, that's how like I hate that stuff, dude. That
Yeah.
like that faux masculine stuff with the beards and the beard oil and you know, like I don't know, man. I hate
Yeah.
that. I just hate that stuff,
Back
dude.
when beard oil was just slang for anal sex lube.
Right? It's like, ugh.
Let's be
Ugh,
real, that's what that is.
I don't want to like
We all
drink
know
your
what you're
Black
actually
Rifle
selling.
coffee and like double dip your like
Yeah.
fucking like I don't know like I hate it, dude. I don't know what I hate, like I get
Black Rifle dick, more like
yeah,
it.
like fuck you, dude. I
Yeah.
hate that shit,
Yeah,
man.
there it is.
Like there's a lot of that like it's like kind of like the you know the wife guy kind of Protestant preacher vibe thing to it too, and you know what I mean, like this like yeah bros, me and my bros were like we're sticking these zins in our butt and praising Jesus while
We're
bench
getting me.
pressing, you know, it's like
I got to think back to my early days in Colorado, and I had a boss who she actually went to one of those mega churches where the dude ended up being like a massive meth smoking rent boy fucking like the whole basically
the
a
whole mega
character from the
church
Righteous
thing, yeah,
Gemstones. Yeah, straight up.
yeah.
Drove by that church every day on my way to work, and she was telling me about it. I'm just like, that's fucking insane. She's like, yeah, it was all true. And she just gave me a look. I'm like, I don't even want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. And you know, she was a lesbian, so I figured she was probably in on it at some stage.
Yeah,
But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
it's all a giant disaster, you
Yeah,
know.
it's such a fucking disaster, dude.
Yeah,
Complete. It is David Lynch hellscape, Black Lodge.
yeah.
I don't even fucking know.
I'd actually like. I'd rather go to the Black Lodge than the mega
Yes,
church. To be
actually,
honest,
I
I would hang out with the midget dude dancing backwards and speaking in like
yeah, no,
speaking
yeah, absolutely.
backwards, who turned into like some kind of like fetus tree or whatever the hell he turned
Yeah,
into.
yeah.
It's
I am
like
the arm, and I make this sound.
yeah, the
Um,
arm. Yeah, you're
yeah.
like
I feel
okay.
like I feel like there's a lot less retards in the Black Lodge. Like they just can't
Yeah,
get there. It's just not. You have to have a certain level of insolification to end up in a
right,
place like that.
right. It's like the owls will not let you pass. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah. You don't get the White Lodge. You don't get the Black Lodge. You don't get anything. You just remain like in that house at the beginning of The Return, where there's that dude standing out front with a double barrel, and the
Mhm.
doppelganger just wrecks his shit. Like that's who
Right,
you get to be. You get to be the guy that gets his shit wrecked by the
right.
doppelganger, and it's
By
just you got to
by
get better guy.
agent
Like yeah,
by
you just need a better guy out front.
The Cooper doppelganger.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
today, for you guys that are joining us live and people listening at home to the most coziest of cozy stacks, the Black Ibis Social Club, I decided to not really have a topic because well I don't have one today, and I made a list of topics. I do every every week, and I was just like I don't really want to talk about anything specific. I let you guys guide me. So I put it out, and it gave us some topics on the
Oh,
Substack,
did we get some topics?
we got some topics, all right?
Oh, that's
And
great.
I took a little
That's
bit of
great.
notes to answer these questions. And so basically for you guys, let's consider this like an ASMR chill stack moment. Imagine yourself in a nice lounge, all right? There might be a pool table. It's not a strip club. It's more like a an upscale gentleman's club, and there's nice leather chairs, and you can just take a seat, light up a cigar or a cigarette. I'm a proletariat. I'm more of a cigarette guy. Get yourself a cup of coffee or a beer or an old fashioned or whatever you like to drink. A GLP-1 cocktail. I don't care. Do it, all right? And we're gonna talk about stuff. So first of all, before I go into the actual topics, What are you doing, Vista? What are you up to?
What am I up to? Well, first, I just want to warn people that the Black Ibis Social Club is everything that Alex just explained. But do keep in mind that it took us less than 15 minutes to get the Black Lodge posting. I just want to point
Right.
that out.
That's
15 minutes
true.
in. 15 minutes in. I think that's a new record. But anyway, what am I up to? Teachers went back this week. Teachers went back this week. So we're getting ready for the return of students, getting our rooms ready, lesson planning, doing all the things that teachers do. We had our open house this week,
Oh, nice.
which open house is my first opportunity to find out how good the previous year actually was, because all the numbers and all the testing, fuck all that shit. All right. The reaction of students when I see them after it's been an entire summer tells me way more. And I do it based kind of off the rule of 10. If one person gives you feedback, there's probably about 10 other people who were thinking it and just never said it.
Right. That's
Yeah.
a real thing.
So I had about probably 15 to 20 students come find me, say hello, go out of their way to see what I had been up to over the summer. And I had probably like 5 literally blast down my door. Just I had one fellow who literally, actually a couple fellows came over. They were just like, "Yeah, I just came over here to see you. What's going on, buddy?" Like straight up, just bro out completely. A few of them even brought up my Starship Troopers unit from last year, which was awesome. There was one guy who was like, "Man, I'm still mad.
That
I'm
is
still
awesome.
mad I lost. I'm still mad we didn't win that." Like, hell yeah, brother.
Nice.
Hell yeah, brother.
Nice.
So
You gonna do
it
it
was
again?
great. It was great.
Are you doing Starship Troopers again?
Probably.
Yeah.
I'm trying to convince my coworker to do it with me. Um, I don't think he has the. He's a great guy, but he doesn't quite have the patience, I think, for like doing a full-on novel and like the audiobook and like all that stuff. But
Mm,
I'm gonna try to convince him to do it. Um, I've been able to develop the lesson a little bit this summer, so if I take 2 months to do it, I'll end up with a much more robust, a much more scholarly pursuit. But I'm going to leave that up to fate. So we'll see.
nice.
But yeah, probably. So that was really great. I met a bunch of my new students. They're all tiny little 8th graders who don't know anything yet, and it's all just, oh,
Cute.
you're so adorable. And then I'm about to curb stomp you right in the face with John Locke
I
immediately.
just think it's
Just
awesome
boom.
that
But anyway,
I just think that it's awesome that us and all the listeners on the podcast and a lot of the guests we've had on the podcast, which are also listeners, we have been kind of instrumental in coming up with some of your lessons plans over the years.
yeah,
Like a lot of the ideas you've had were first explored here live. So which is pretty cool. Like I
yeah.
remember when we talked about Mishima and he did a Mishima class, and that's pretty awesome. So for you listeners, you guys are like, we're making a difference here, guys.
Yeah.
We're doing the opposite of shit liberty. Okay, we're actually educating the youth of America towards being forest rebels. Okay.
Yes. The biggest reason I am on Substack is not just to make people laugh and yell at retards. I actually use it for a lot of my information, a lot of my kind of more cutting edge stuff. For example, with the Starship Troopers unit, I didn't get into it a ton, but the Tree of Woe has a couple of essays about stratocracy. He specifically has one where he explores stratocratic contract theory and basically explains how the United States was actually founded as a stratocracy to begin with, because the Minutemen seized power, right? So like
Right.
I use those essays. Fortis Vita, I think is how you say it. He's the weightlifting guy, and some of the stuff with Jason. Like I've used some of the ideas that I've seen from those guys. Even the more manosphere, gender slop war stuff. Like I don't know if Rohan Ghostwind made himself in, or like some of those guys are like Med Gold.
Mm-hmm.
I'll use some of those ideas in class, or just kind of allow myself to be influenced by these ideas, and it has helped me become a better teacher, 100%.
I mean,
So
yeah,
yeah,
because
guys,
you
it's for
throw you
real.
throw you throw stuff back and forth, and it's
Right,
just like sometimes like sometimes, right? Like look, for the most part, most of the conversations with like super lefty kind of people, like what lefties need to realize is that they're normies, right?
right, yes,
Most of their kind of commie light beliefs and that kind of stuff, it's really normie. It's the stuff that we've been kind of fed since we were in elementary school. I mean, look,
right,
you take any random like lefty nonsense, right? Like that, any lefty feminist garbage
yeah,
Substack boomer post, and it's nothing that like Star Trek: The Next Generation hasn't already taught me when I was like 7. You know what I mean? Right? Like
right,
there's nothing shocking in anything that these guys put out, right? I mean, it's worth engaging with some like really out there crazy leftists because they're a little bit more interesting, right? But for the most part, the kind of stuff that we see posted by these guys that consider themselves radical, it's so mainstream and so normy. They're such clowns, right? It's not
yeah,
even interesting. So that's why really the only discourse is really a righty discourse, right? It's between like, pagan bros and Christian guys, and that's the only interest because we already know that leftist stuff is retarded. It's just like a given, there's nothing really worth engaging. So what we're really kind of trying to like uh, iron out is differences in right wing thought, which is much more of a diverse kind of view than I mean, we saw that with the whole um, the idiot vitalist thing. But like I said, even though that was kind of funny, that was kind of a joke because those guys aren't serious. Like, like those guys, I blocked all those guys because I was bored of it. I like, ugh, you bore me,
yeah,
because it's not really engaging. Like people say, oh, Alex, you block people. You don't want to have discourse. No,
yeah,
dude. Like, okay, there's like, I think a 2 hour podcast was enough,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
their entire like philosophy is pieced together from Wikipedia articles. It's not really interesting. If you
yeah.
are
Something important too. I just want to interject there before I forget. Something important too is not only do you get to deal with all that stuff kind of in advance of the students, but some of the shit that I've read on Substack and some of the things that have been said to me on Substack, when I get in the classroom, it's just guys, you just don't know. Like a kid will try to say something edgy, or like, they'll try to get under my skin, or like I actually have a few students where I have an open dialogue with them on improving their, comedic timing and sense of insult comedy. And just one of these days, I'm just going to be like, listen, you're a bunch of bat nigger theo faggots. And it's just going to be like, what?
right, right,
What? Like, Will Martin says suffer. Like, I don't even want to hear it. I don't even want to hear it.
right, right.
So it's like, but that's good though, because then it puts me in a position where it's just whatever they say is going to roll off my back. I don't even care. Like, guys,
Right,
you just have no idea.
right. I mean, ultimately, right? Like, um, it's just it's it's just really boring, And in the vitalist thing, in the masculine kind of camp, I think the best writer in that kind of camp is Jack Donovan, and Jack
Yeah,
Donovan's been writing this stuff. I was reading Jack Donovan stuff back in 2000, before my daughter was born, so 2000, like 15, 16, and
yeah,
he wrote The Way of Men, which is much better book than any of the vitalist stuff, and he, his stuff, and he's interesting, but he's not annoying, and he's actually gay, so it's even more interesting. Um, and he actually looks like a fucking Chad. You see the guy, and you're like, okay, you're like 46, 40 some 50 years old, and you look like a beast, and and he can talk about all that stuff, right? But it's interesting, and he's actually really smart about it.
yeah,
Okay, so we did that, right? We ignored that stuff. I block it. I don't care. I'm not interested anymore. Like if you're stupid, like it's just like what are we gonna do? Have the same conversations over? Like, and what's his name? Derek or Devon or whatever his name is, right? D Wayne. He looks like a D Wayne. His name is Derek, but I think he's like a D Wayne. He looks like the dude from like. Do you remember that show with the squids that are like hillbilly squids?
oh my gosh. Yeah,
like
kind of
the
vaguely.
Squidbillies or
Oh,
whatever. Do you remember
Squidbillies.
that
Yeah.
show? That's why
Oh
he looks like
God.
a
Oh,
Squidbilly. That's what he looks like with
disgusting.
that gold chain and that stupid hat
Yeah,
he
he's
had
not
on
even.
Dave's. You fucking
He's not even.
Squidbilly.
He's not even an AA Ron. He's a DD Wayne. Just
Yeah,
DD.
he's a DD Wayne Squidbilly,
Whatever,
bro.
DD Wayne.
He's like, me and my boys, we vitalists, boys. We're gonna go down and pick up in them BPD hoes as vitalists. Shoot, shoot, yeah, fucking
We're
hillbilly
gonna
mother.
we're gonna go we're gonna go get ourselves pegged by some BPD hoes. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah. Was Squidbillies
Anyway,
that old? Was that old? It wasn't that old, was it? I feel like I don't know. Oh, to talk about being a sad. It wasn't an Adult Swim show, right?
yeah,
I
Adult
remember that.
Swim. That's right, Matt. That's right.
There, there was a sad. I had a sad realization. So it was my daughter's open house thing or whatever, where we went and dropped off her stuff in her classroom and met her teacher, and of course, obviously, she has the same teacher because she's in elementary school. And it was really nice, and all the parents were there, and blah blah blah. And her school's big, and I was like, man, I don't think my elementary school ever did this. And my wife's like, I'm sure they did, Alex. Your parents probably just never took you. And I'm
Oh
like,
no.
oh man,
Oh,
my parents didn't care. I'm like, damn, they should probably did. I just probably don't remember it. I was too
yeah,
busy like playing Magic the Gathering or whatever. But yeah,
yeah.
that's what's gonna be Vitalist Squidbilly. That's what he looks like. Okay, I'm sorry, bro. But he looks like a Squidbilly. Like, gotta find a picture of it, man, somewhere and add it to the. My drink is running out. All right, so let's talk about like squid vitality. Squids are cool
Squid
though. You know what?
Fiddly.
Like,
Yeah, he's a Squid
you know,
Fiddly.
all right, so things to talk about, some
Yes,
questions,
things to
all right, and then
discuss.
please in the chat, please ask us anything else too. All right, so in our very first ever Ask Us Anything episode that we're doing, that's not our very first. I think we randomly talk about shit all the time.
Yeah.
Actually, Asperger's asked. He said, "What does your to read pile look like?" All right, and man, do you have a to read pile right now?
I do actually. As the podcast began, I decided to straighten up my desk, and I have a read. I literally created to read pile. Um, at work, I left my copy of the second book of Revelation Space, so I'm going to finish that this year. I need to dig into my 2 volumes of family history, and I also need to buy the remaining volumes, the Blanks of America, the Redacteds of America. So I'm going to read that. I've got Tolkien's The Fall of Gondolin. I never actually read that when I was a child, so I'm going to check that out. I have the Brothers Karamazov here, which is in my to
Okay.
read pile. The Silmarillion. I actually found this at our local library. I bought it for 50 cents. Nice hardcover copy. So I'm going to check that out. I read that back when I was in college. My patron, John, sent me a book called The Prize, The Epic Quest for Oil, Money, and Power. This was a Pulitzer Prize winner from about 30 years ago, 20, 30 years ago. So I'm going to check that out. And then I also have Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People and How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. So this is something I meant to read over the summer, but it didn't happen because of reasons. So yeah, that's my to read
I
pile.
read that one. I read that one a few years ago
Yes, I remember
when
you
I was
saying that.
moving, and I was like, I really want to like be a nice person and like and all that stuff. And I read it and I realized I was an asshole. And
Yeah.
one of the main things like it tells you to do is to like memorize people's names and like always address people by their names.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
can't do that. I don't remember people's names. I don't remember people. Like people like I spent time with, they just like leave like my life for like a week and I forget that they ever existed. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, who are you
Yeah.
again? Like
Being a teacher has made that easier for me. Especially last year, I got a lot better at remembering names. But
mhm.
you got to have your old standbys like, hey boss, hey guy, hey friend, how you doing, buddy? How are things? You just got to have those
Like
out there.
guys, I work in medicine and I see patients all day, and sometimes I'll
Yeah,
see like, you know, a lot of patients over the years, and people will be like, "Oh, remember when you saw me for this?" I'm like, "No, dude, I don't. I'm sorry. Like, you all look the same. Everybody looks the same. Like, I don't know, fucking know who you are. I've treated a million of the same exact thing. Like, how am I gonna remember you? Like, well, like you crazy. Your name is like Steve or something, and now like everybody young has like retarded ass names, like Zendaya and shit like that or whatever. Like, I can't
No,
keep track.
Shanaquay, I do not remember when
No,
you
no, no,
had
no,
that
no, no, no.
rash.
It's not even that. It's like
No.
Shaniqua is like an old name. That's like an old black name, right? But like, there's this really messed up trend, right? Where like back in like the 80s and 90s, like like black people would name their kids crazy stuff like Mercedes Benz or whatever, or
Lexus.
yeah, and then like, but then like Midwestern and like Southern white women got really jealous, so they decided to start naming their kids retarded stuff too. So now it's like you got like Genesis X or something like that, and all kinds of like
Yeah.
Michaela with the H and a
Cadence, a lot of
G,
cadence.
Cadence, Kadela, Kylie, Kendra,
Mackenzie's.
Kitara,
Yes, Kintara's.
like
Yes, yes.
just the names are more and more retarded every day. My wife sent me one the other day of like somebody she knows, and I'm not going to say it just in case I don't want to. But it was so dumb. It sounded like erectile dysfunction medication. Like something
Oh
that
no.
Sanofi Pasteur like put out. I'm like it's like no, no, people, like you're supposed to like name your kid something that your grandma's named after. Like the way it works is like the ideal way to do it is like you go to like the like what are some old lady sounding names? Okay, like Ruth, right?
Margaret.
And you go to that,
Margaret.
yeah, like you go to that generation, and then you like go a little bit before that, right? So like, if Ruth sounds old, you go to the generation before Ruth, right? And then you get like cool names. Like I actually, there is a girl that works in my work, and her name is Margot, and actually, that's a good name. I'm like,
That's a good
huh,
one. Yeah,
okay,
Margot. That's a good
that's a
one.
good one, right? It's like it's
Marge,
really
Margie,
unique.
Maggie. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
solid.
right.
Yeah,
Right.
no,
So it's
when it
like
comes
it's
to
old.
yeah, when it comes to names, I'm a huge fan of making sure that you clearly think through all of the potential nicknames and all of the potential
Right.
insults. Um, Hopefully this will be the year that I become a father, and we've had plenty of time to really, really, really dial that in. And with the sheer amount of insult comedy that I get into, I go straight for the jugular on every single name idea. Just even if it's like
Right.
remotely
Oh, you have to. You have
something,
to.
like you got to think through the acronyms. You got to think through like just all of it. Because I mean, my real name's not that silly, but there's a couple parts of my real
Right.
name where it's like fuck. Like I've had to hear that shit all my fucking life. It's fine. Like it's funny. It's fine. But it's just you gotta you gotta give your due diligence. You gotta have your due diligence. Otherwise, what the hell are you doing?
See, my name, if you're Romanian, my name's like really common. Alexandru Constantine, and Constantine's my middle name. It's just like it's whatever, like
Yeah.
it's like John Smith, basically, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's named
Yeah.
Constantine, everybody's
That's
named
fine.
Alexandru. It's a very popular
Yeah.
name, at least in like my generation in Romania. Um, but it just sounds like it's unique in in the states because it's spelled different, but it's really just Alexander. I never actually, I don't think anybody's ever called me like, hey, Alexandra. No, nobody ever calls me that except people online and stuff. um Everybody calls me Alex. My entire family always called me Alex. I've always been just Alex my entire life. But
Yeah.
it
Solid
you know
stuff.
it's easy. uh my you know my daughter has a pretty unique kind of hippie-ish name, but then she has a normal middle name, so it kind of like evens out. I'm really sick of the Aiden names, like Aiden, Caden, Ins. You know what I mean?
Aiden,
That's kind of
Caden,
like
Jaden, Naden, Maiden,
Jaden, Caden,
Zayden,
Maiden. Yeah, like those need to go away. And
Zayden,
you have to be like, you have to be
Waden,
like Irish, right? That's an Irish like
Baden,
thing. So
Caden.
like I don't like it. Yeah, I don't like it when people like take names that like don't belong to their like culture. But I mean, I guess
Yeah.
I could name my daughter like Jaden because my wife is Irish-ish, right?
Yeah, you get
Um,
away with that.
right. All right. So
With
books.
my
Let me tell you about my books. Oh, go ahead.
oh,
Finish.
one more thought. With my pen name, one thing that's been nice is when I decided to really start like leaning into the whole fisto thing. Um,
Mhm.
One of my favorite things is when people are like, "Oh, fisted," and then I just look straight in the eye and I'm like, "Yep, just no you,
Yeah,
reverse
it's from
Uno."
He-Man, bro.
Yeah, exactly. And now it's more awkward for you because I'm totally into it. Like, jokes on you, I'm into that shit.
Yeah,
But yeah,
dumbass.
and then it's He-Man. It's like, why why are you mocking He-Man? Also, it's the
Yeah,
sex robot in New Vegas. I mean, what's not to love about that? Come
yeah,
on,
yeah. What
assume
are
the
you doing,
position.
bro? Right.
Assume the position. I am
Well,
programmed to shitpost.
like it was. I don't have a pen name. My real name is my pen name.
Yeah,
Like I always like it when people that like always go on like Substack or like whatever, and they're trying to argue. They're like, what do you hide behind a fake picture?" I'm like, that's actually literally my picture. It's me,
it's
and that's my
always
name.
it's always it's like we were saying. It's always the John Smith, two
Yeah,
subscribers. Like,
yeah.
bitch, Google me, and I am more real than you are. I am more
Like
real than you are.
that's actually like my picture, and it's actually
Yeah.
my name. Like, are you retarded? Anyways,
Yeah.
um,
Zero posts, no comments.
yeah, it's like
Why are you hiding?
we don't owe engagement to that, to be honest.
No,
All right, you know,
no,
what I mean
fuck them.
that's the
Straight
thing.
up,
It's
fuck them. Yeah,
like
just
listen,
yeah,
like,
no.
and this is like I'm okay with anonymous people, right? But if you're
Yeah,
anonymous, you
yeah.
have to have a body of work
Right. Yeah,
that you stand behind. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, okay, I'm gonna like, you're an anonymous writer, Fisto, right?
Right.
But
Yes.
you have a body of work, whether it's this
Yes.
podcast and like there's something that's substantial about you. You're not just like some random like, no name PFP, it just
Yeah.
I don't owe you that engagement, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Right? Like I don't, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't own and I don't
Anonymous.
like
Anonymous is not the void.
yeah, and
Anonymous is not the void.
you know, like to quote my favorite movie, The Great Beauty, right? And I'm too old. If I just don't want to do things I don't want to do anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we
Like,
don't want to fuck anons anymore. Like
like I'm
like
not gonna
just
sit
I'm
here
bored.
and,
I'm
and,
out of
and
here.
debate. Yeah, I'm not gonna debate Wikipedia shit. Like it's just stupid. Like if your entire worldview is like you stringing together Wikipedia articles, it's just not interesting, bro. Like I just don't
Yeah.
care. Like
Yeah, that's
you had
that.
to you like
I'm just gonna say it's
it's
smart. It's smart. Like, I think with religion, I'm happy to discuss religion. I'm not going to debate religion. I'm going to try to explain to you the best I can what I
right.
think the nature of reality is. I'm not debating it. There's no like proving it. No, 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 no. I'm going to try to explain to you what I think and why I think it. But at the end of the day,
Right.
it's true, and that's a you problem, not a me problem.
Right. Right. Okay, so I got to answer Asperger's my to read pile. So are you ready for this?
Nice.
This is
Yes.
this is this is good. Okay,
Let's
we're gonna do
go.
something
Let's
fun. So I
go.
hope you guys have your video on live because I'm gonna actually show you my to
Shit.
read pile.
Oh
Okay,
shit.
so I have 41 fiction books in my to read
Oh
pile
fuck.
and
Wow. All right.
47 nonfiction books. Right?
I'm just deleting
Uh,
my account. I'm logging off
yeah,
and deleting my account.
I'm currently reading. Uh, 1Q84 by Murakami. It's kind of a play on 1984, all right? But let me show you guys, see if this works. We'll do this. We'll share my screen. All right, do you guys see this? Let's see. It should show up. Tell me if you start seeing it. All right.
I'm looking.
So it should show up in a second now.
Hey, you don't hear any music, do you, by chance, right?
No, I don't hear anything.
All right, cool. I'm
Uh,
actually playing my bass as we talk here.
I hear the strings playing.
Oh, okay. I'll try to keep that down.
Okay. Do you guys see the stuff yet? Let me see. You see the screen?
Not yet.
I'm doing the sharing of the screen. Let's see if that shows up on
Sharing the screen. Well, welcome new people. Welcome new people. We're up to 20 people in chat. If you guys could please spam Substack and let them know that they need to get in chat and ask us things. I see some new faces,
Right.
some people I've not seen before. It's always fun. It's always fun. We're in a great mood. We're in a
Why is
great
my
mood tonight.
stupid screen not sharing? It's annoying.
While you're doing that, we'll do some shout outs here. Colton, always a pleasure to see you. Brian, I feel like it's been a while, man. Hope you're well.
Yeah.
Lincoln, always a nice, always a great.
Well, here we go. Anyways,
Matt 330, love you,
I'll
buddy.
just go through it.
Yeah, just go
I'll
through
just
it,
go
man.
through it. All right, so I have about 605 books in my Kindle right now, but I'm obviously not reading all of them. I read most of them already, but I've got 40. I made two folders for this year: my two read fiction and my two read nonfiction, right? And so I'm reading 1Q84 by Murakami. I love Murakami. I know like some people don't like it but Murakami is one of my favorite Japanese writers. What else am I reading? I got Under the Volcano by Malcolm Lowry. It's a book about a guy that's he basically drinks himself to death in Mexico. I got Brad Kelly's book, which is fantastic. I actually finished. I need to take it off that list.
Ooh.
Um, the new edition, the new translation of the Brothers Karamazov, which I'm
Hey.
going to read. I've read Brothers Karamazov multiple times already. I
Yes.
had the latest Murakami, which is The City and Its Uncertain Walls, but I was going to read that, but then I was like, no, I should read 1Q84 because it's kind of like his big masterpiece, and I should read that before I go into his latest book. Um, Shadow Ticket by Thomas Pynchon, I don't like at all, so I kind of like put it aside. But look at all these books, man. I guess I've got Brideshead Revisited that I want to read this year by Evelyn Waugh, which I haven't read yet. Get The Magic Mountain, which I started reading, got like halfway through it, and I was like, I need to put this aside. I wasn't in the mood for it, and that's a Thomas Mann book. Uh, Talk about Thomas Mann. I've got Michael Mann, no relation because one's the director and the other one, and I have Heat 2, which they're actually making into a movie finally. Um, I might read Infinite Jest, by David Foster Wallace. What else do I want to read this year? But I think right now my to read pile, like my actual like when I'm gonna go like um actually read is I'm gonna finish 1Q84 by Murakami. I'm gonna read Bret Easton Ellis' The Shards. Um, The Shards is his latest book. I actually listened to the whole book as a podcast. He did it like on a weekly podcast before it actually came out as a book, and I just haven't read the book version of it. And I think I'm gonna go into Brideshead Revisited and then Under the
Mm.
Volcano. I'm also thinking of doing a reread of Neuromancer. I know there's an
Oh,
Apple.
dude, I was just looking at that
Yeah,
on my shelf. Ah, crap! I'm gonna have to do that now.
yeah. I'm thinking of doing a
Oddly,
reread, and I might just like reread Neuromancer and then go on to like the other like Sprawl trilogy stuff. Like so I might do that. I have a bunch of books in my nonfiction pile, man. Like, dude, I've got like Weimar Germany, Promise and Tragedy. I don't know if that's any good. I've got the biography of Aleister Crowley that I want to read. Uh, that has like his, I got a bunch of
oh,
Evelyn stuff.
I got understanding media at school. I gotta finally finish that this year.
I picked
Got
up
my
this
head
book
out
called
of my butt.
I picked up this book called The Prince of Darkness. Uh, it's
All
called
right.
The Prince of Darkness, Radical Evil and the Power of Good in History. It's like about the history of Satan basically and like the perception of Satan.
Huh.
Um, what else do I got around here? Most of this stuff I already read.
Oh, one book that I grabbed that I'm gonna throw on the pile is Shagduck. I never read
Oh,
that.
Shagduck is great. Shagduck is
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
You do you, I don't know. I'm surprised you haven't read that one because it is like right up your like.
I suck, so that's why I haven't read it. But it's on
You
the
know
pile
what I
now.
mean? It's like the type of humor in it is exactly the kind of stuff
Oh,
you
perfect.
appreciate. I bought
Outstanding.
Franz Kafka's Diaries, which is like his diaries, which I started
Wait,
reading it. It's
oh,
pretty funny.
hey, actually, if you do Franz Kafka's Diaries,
Mhm.
Metamorphosis has become one of the stories that we read during the school year. So if there's anything particularly good in the diaries, I'll absolutely teach it in class.
Okay, I'm like
Don't even
randomly
care.
opening it right now. I'm opening. I don't know
Oh,
if you guys can see
nice.
it, and I'm gonna pick a random spot because like his stuff is pretty insane. Let's see what we got here.
Hey, sir, why are we reading this? We divined it on my podcast. What? We cast lots on my podcast and decided we would read this year. Okay, sir.
Yeah. Let's see. Where's my? This is. So,
I can't wait to tell I can't wait to tell coworkers that when I say that my method includes divine madness, I mean it's just
yeah,
my
we just
podcast.
randomly
It's just
pick
my
stuff,
podcast.
and
It's just
let's
me and
pick
a bunch of assholes on the
the
internet.
seventh notebook. All right,
Oh no.
so
The seven. Oh no, seven. Oh no.
okay, it
Uh
looks like the 12th of I can't read it. I want to know what that means. 12th of February, 1913. He
Oh
goes, during the
no.
description of a friend in a foreign land, I often thought of Stewart. Now, when I met him by chance about 3 months after this story, he told me he had become engaged about 3 months ago. After I read the story yesterday at Welch's father went out and when he returned after a little while, praised especially the visual description in the story. With an outstretched hand, he said, I see this father in front of me, and at the same time he was looking exquisitely at the empty chair in which he had been sitting during the reading. My sister said, It's our apartment. I was astonished at how she misunderstood the setting and said, Then the father would have to be living in the water closet. Okay, well, that's the 12th of February in 1913.
That's the whole entry.
That's the whole entry.
Yeah. No. So after we're done with the book, and Gregor dies, and everybody is liberated from his influence, I'll present that to the class and say, "See,
Yeah. Let me go to like
see what
his
he's talking
last.
about."
Let me go to his last stuff.
Oh
Uh,
no.
his 12th notebook.
Oh boy.
The fragile, moody, negligible being. A telegram flings it down. A letter helps it up, revives it. The silence after the letter dulls. The cat's playing with the goats. The goats resemble Polish Jews. Uncle Siegfried, Ernst Weiss, Irma.
Oh no.
1 week in Zero. Let's see. Let's see
I
what
changed my
here.
mind. I changed my mind. We're gonna do that other one first, then read Metamorphosis, and then end with the very last one and be like, "See, it all makes sense, right, guys?"
The goats resemble Jews.
Because oh no, that'll be great because they're gonna have to read some Holocaust shit this year in like their other
Uh,
classes, and then just randomly in mine, the goats resemble Jews.
oh, there's drawing. There's drawings in here too.
Oh, even
Cool.
better.
It's a. He's got a drawing of a roulette table, and he's got this whole post. I said post, but I guess that's what it is. This guy would have been a
Uh,
banger on Substack. He'd be
yeah.
cockroach posting. Okay, that's enough of that.
You
That's insane.
you should
Okay.
just you just start posting Kafka's diaries unattributed and just see what happens.
Right, right. Just random Kafka's gallery stuff. Oh man.
You'd be like, yeah, this
Just
Constantine guy, he's the next Bukowski.
uh,
Start trolling
yeah.
Lisa Lives with it.
I need. I don't know if I have the energy to like read like 900 pages of this dude's like diaries. You know, I don't
That's
like.
fair.
I'm not even a huge Kafka fan. I don't know why I bought it. I just bought like I
Did you
have
want
like
to
these
mail that to me?
like moods.
Like, do you just want
Huh?
to give it to me when you're
I
done, and then I'll.
it's a Kindle file. Like I'm just a Kindle file
Ah,
buyer.
I think I
Yeah.
think I think I'll start. I think I'll
Um.
put that in my classroom library this year. I'll get that in my library.
Yeah. I mean it's new. It came out a few. Yeah, I remember why I bought it. You know what? I was listening to the Art of Darkness, and they were talking about
Ah,
it. And
oh, that's
whenever
right.
like I listen to like the Art of yeah, like I listen to Art of Darkness, I always buy all the books that they talk about. You know, because
Yeah.
I'm an addict. What's your favorite liqueur? That was a question in the chat.
Oh, favorite liqueur. Well, I'm a pleb, so the only one that I've ever really had is 43. So I guess that one's my
Hmm.
favorite. I mean, it says liqueur on the bottle, so you know, I mean,
I mean,
so
depends
there
what
you
mood I'm
go.
in. To be
It
honest,
depends on the mood
I
I'm in. You have liqueurs for moods, and
well,
I'm over here like it says it on the
oh
bottle.
yes, I have drinks. I have drinks for moods. Okay,
Oh God! All right,
like
here we
for
go.
example, what? Okay, listen, man. Okay, for
Come at me,
example, right?
educate me.
Okay, in the summer, for example, I am a fan of drinking gin. Right.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
I like gin. I like gin and tonics. Right.
Yeah,
And if I feel like really fancy, I'll make like a fancy gin and tonic, right? I enjoy like uh there's a like different like infused kind of gins, like more fancy ones that you can buy,
yeah.
and I enjoy those. Like sometimes with cucumbers and maybe some blueberries mold in there, you know, just trying to get all crazy. But just the gin and tonic is a like you know, in a lot of my travels to the South Pacific, gin and tonic was the way. I just felt like East India Company vibe in the whole time, and you get
Yeah.
a lot of like a lot of these places were like actual East India Company places, and you can buy Bombay Sapphire like everywhere, and it's usually cheap, and you can get like a $3 gin and tonic and just pound them. I could drink like 12, 15 of them and not get slizzard too bad, right? Um,
Yeah.
in the winter, and by the way, we're talking about mixed cocktails now. I know the question was what liqueur, and liqueur is not what I'm talking about right now. We're talking about just mixed drinks, right? I do enjoy a White Russian. Like the White Russian is
Ooh,
kind of
those are
like my
good.
Christmas drink. It's my
Yeah, I like
Christmas
those.
drink, right?
Yeah.
And I used to get it like we used to friends and I used to throw a New Year's party. It was my favorite party of the year, right? And I would get all the stuff to make White Russians. We used to throw like a Big Lebowski party where we like everybody would wear like like the bathrobes and stuff, and dress like in costumes from Big Lebowski. And I would get a Grey Goose and some. I would get actually Grey Goose. What is it? Kahlua, and I would. You're supposed to kind of like drink it with like cream, like creamer. But I liked skim milk, which is actually not a White Russian. It becomes an Anna Kournikova if you really want to be particular about it. But either way, it's a pretty heavy drink, so you don't drink like milk and vodka and
So
like
wait, so
coffee.
wait. So it's an Anna Kournikova because it's a skinny Russian?
Uh-huh.
Nice.
All right. I don't know. Somebody told me that. I don't know what it's called, but that's a good one, right? Um, Also, you can drink. So Kahlua is a liqueur, right? And so it's a coffee liqueur, right? So yeah, I guess Kahlua is one of my favorite liqueurs, right? Um, I also enjoy. I like eggnog, right? So like eggnog and like vodka, for example, or eggnog and brandy are tends to be really good for like around. But once again, it's a winter drink. Uh, I'm not a huge whiskey or bourbon guy. My wife likes bourbon a lot. She likes whiskey, and she likes like old fashions. Like old fashions are like the drinks she like. Whenever we go to a nice bar, she goes for the old fashioned. And I'm not. I'm not like a whiskey guy, right?
Yeah.
Um, another drink I enjoy when you used to go to like clubbing in like Los Angeles and stuff, you used to have to get when you go clubbing with like a girl when you're like 20, 21 or whatever, and you really can't like afford a bunch of drinks and stuff because you're like a bum, or for yourself, right? You get what's called a roofie colada, right? A roofie colada is just like a drink that has like a lot of booze in it and it'll get you effed up,
Right. Yeah. It's in
for
the
like
name. It's in the
right,
name.
but you don't get. They're not like the drink itself is not a roofie colada, but and it's a roofie colada is like a subtype of drink, is what we used to call it, right? So a good example of a roofie colada is a Long Island iced tea, right? Because it's got like
You know, I was
four shots
I
of
was about
booze
to
in it.
share. Yeah, I was about to share that I have a particular weakness for Long Island iced teas, and now that I know it's a roofie colada,
Right.
yeah,
Right. Because I
I'm
mean,
just gonna
like,
let that
it's a
out there.
great drink to buy like at a club because it's like, okay, cool. It's like, $10, but I think drinks are like $30 now a pop, whatever crazy price they are. Right. But you get it. It's an expensive drink, but it's the price of a cocktail, but it's got like four shots of booze in it. Like for the same price, you get like I used to like my drink of choice when I was younger and going and bar hopping was Greyhounds, right? And a Greyhound is vodka, grapefruit juice, and salt on the rim, right?
Yeah.
And or it's called the Greyhound or a salty dog, right? And my wife pointed out that those taste like barf, right? And I said, well, that's exactly why I get them because they taste the same way going in and going out. You know what I mean? Right? So I can
That's a
drink a
very
bunch of
efficient
it.
drink. It's a
Right.
very
It's
efficient
yeah,
drink.
it's get that acidic grapefruit taste, right? But yeah, like I used to like Greyhounds. Some bars make it with like ruby red grapefruit juice, which is like, I don't like that. Give me that, give me that disgusting, like
That's
bile.
funny.
Like my wife hates it. She says it's just like well, you're drinking bile is like what she says. But I'm like, well,
It's
yeah, I
called
mean,
planning ahead, darling.
yeah,
I'm
it's like
planning ahead.
she's just not aristocratic enough or something,
I
right?
was just about to say, is this aristocracy?
Right. But
Is this
there's a
vitalism?
so there's a variation of a Long Island iced tea called the Tokyo tea, right?
The Tokyo tea.
And
Oh.
it replaces the cola, like the Coke you put in Long Island iced
Yeah.
tea. It replaces it with Midori, right? And
Hmm.
Midori is like melon, like cantaloupe melon liquor. It's a Japanese like liquor. It's like neon green, and it's actually pretty
Oh,
disgusting. You feel like you can't just drink it on its own. It's like a mixer, you know. You like, I
yeah.
guess you can do it. But I had a girlfriend that liked Tokyo teas, but she also got uh, Midori sours, which taste like those apple Jolly Ranchers, kind of like dipped in like salt. You know, it's just pretty gross. You can only drink like two of them before you like those things. If you barf those do not feel good coming out the back end. You know, like the there's also amaretto, which is another liqueur I like, and amaretto is like I don't know. It's made of almond, I think, like almond pit liquor or something, right? It's like peach pit or apricot or something. I think it's almond. I think it's almond liquor. Like I don't know. It's like booze soaked in almond. It's probably got cyanide in it or something. But amaretto's
Perfect.
pretty good. You can make amaretto sours. You can. It tastes like almond. It's almond. I'm not. I'm remembering correctly. There's also I don't know if you guys ever had port wine. It's can only be from Portugal, right? That's what it's called, port wine. It's actually pretty disgusting. I don't know if people like it, but that was a big thing when I was in Timor Leste. A lot of the people there liked port wine, and it's like fortified wine, and it's horrible. Let me see what else is there. Yeah, see, I was right. Lincoln E. Miller said it's made of peach pits and almonds. I knew it was made out of like something like that, like something like cyanide like that. I liked it. It's just one of those things where it's too sweet, you know? It's just really a sweet drink. So I guess that's probably my favorite liquor: amaretto, Midori, Kahlua. Kahlua is my favorite drink. I also, sometimes in the summer, I get very Caribbean minded, so I will I'll make like pineapple, pineapple rum stuff. I do enjoy a good old pineapple drink. That's like a drink I mean, I can drink like 30 like pineapple rums, pineapple juice and some rum in there.
I'm feeling very piratey now. I feel like we
Huh?
could I'm
Yeah,
feeling very piratey now with you talking about this
right,
drink.
right. And
I feel like I want
there's a
to do some privateering.
liqueur, right? It's a liqueur called Curacao, right? I don't know if anybody heard of it, and you can get this thing called Blue Curacao, and it is some kind of like it's like made out of like orange peel. It's an orange peel liquor, and it makes Blue Hawaiians, and they're really good. Which is interesting because it's Curaçao's a place in the Caribbean, but Blue Hawaiians are made out of it. I don't know why. Um, I had these friends back in the day that were really into like the whole tiki scene. And for a while, there's like this weird kind of tiki scene, like revival in Los Angeles. And there's like a bunch of tiki bars and stuff. And a friend of mine, he built like a giant tiki bar in his backyard. And, they would have these tiki parties. And all the drinks they would make were like that whole like 1950s tiki era, Disneyland, enchanted tiki room kind of stuff. He had all these animatronics and costumes and stuff. And, yeah, like blue Hawaiians are good. Blue Curacao is good. But yeah, that's kind of my drink. I think we talked about wine. Wine, I do like wine. Wine is probably the thing I drink the most nowadays. And I like both white and red wine. I like both, right? It all depends on what mood I'm. I'm kind of a snob, so I will pair my wine with food. I'll get the right wine for the right food. The last wine I drank, I had a delicious meal of swordfish, which I don't know if you've ever had swordfish. Swordfish is pretty good. Swordfish is like a fish for people that don't really like fish, but it was good. And I had Pinot Noir, which is kind of a light red with it because I think the swordfish is kind of steaky, so it's okay to have a red with fish. Usually, depending on the fish, I'll go for a white wine, but I do like Pinot Noir a lot. So there's my wine snobbery, and I think that California wine is the best. All right, I'm gonna tell you guys this. I think California wines tend to be the best. Um, I've had a lot of good French wine. You know, maybe if I go to France and I'll try some like, more local French wine, I might like it more. But for the most part, they're good, but not my favorite. Australian wine is absolutely garbage. If you ever like drink Australian wine, like I was stuck drinking Australian wine in the South Pacific. It's trash. But yeah, California wine wins. Pinot Noirs from California are some of the best. But yeah, that's my booze thing.
All right.
Mai Tais are kind of good, gross though. Mai Tais are kind of rough because they're like a dark drink. There's like they usually use dark rum, and they're kind of roofie coladas too, right? I also like beer. You like beer, Fisto?
Absolutely.
What kind of
Love
beer
me
do you
some
like?
beer. I tend to like stouts and lagers
Okay,
depending on my
okay.
mood. It's either
I
it's
mean,
either one or the other.
we are millennials during the hipster era, so like I grew up in California during like the microbrew kind of thing,
Yeah.
so I had a lot of beer. I tend to be like a pilsner,
Yeah.
red, like a red sometimes. That whole like red blonde pilsner kind of, that's what I like. I like
Yeah.
Mexican beers. My wife is the big
Mexican beers are good.
my wife is the really big what do you call it, like IPA. She liked IPAs a
Oh,
lot. There's
I never
a
really could get into those. I mean, I've had them; they're all right, but it's just
Yeah, for the most part.
ales. I love ales.
Yeah,
Brown
for the
ales,
most
good
part,
good English
IPAs
brown
are
ale. Ugh, gimme, gimme, gimme.
IPAs always tasted like pine cones to me, like just way
Yeah,
too like herbal. I don't know,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
there's a little microbrew here in like South Carolina, actually in my town, right? And it's called Damn Yankee.
Oh, yeah, I've had that.
Um, and they sell like a this IPA called Damn Yankee IPA, or and it's actually pretty good, Um, so I like it. It's good, you know.
Yeah, IPAs were too much like drinking a bottle of perfume.
Yeah, but I mean, with
A little.
stouts, same thing with stouts, though, man.
Really?
Stouts is like you're like okay, like I never like Guinness. People like Guinness. I don't ever like Guinness. I think Guinness tastes too flat to me. It tastes like it's flat. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I won't say no. Listen. Okay, listen, guys. If you put a beer in front of me or like
Right. Yes.
a
Yes.
glass in front of me,
Yeah, we're
and
gonna give it a go.
you
Don't worry
slip me
about
a
it.
cigarette, I'm not drinking it. Okay, like
Right.
I am Eastern European after all, right? But I had a bunch of friends that were really big into like the Irish pub thing and everything, and like I don't know, man. I always preferred when I'd go to the Irish pubs, I would get black and tans where they usually like go like they would float like Bass Ale on Guinness, or black and browns where they would mix Guinness with Newcastle, which I much prefer. I know it's like Irish people are going to stab me for saying this, but because Newcastle is British, but I preferred Newcastle. I used to like cheap ass like European beer like Stella. You ever had Stella?
Yeah. Stella's
Like I like
fantastic. I
Stella.
like it.
Stella's
Yeah, it's
good.
really good.
And then my British friend told me that back there they called it Stella wife beater. That's what they referred to as Stella. So yeah, I never knew that, but I guess it's like chav trash like fucking beer, But
Hmm.
I liked it. I like Stella. It's pretty good.
Stella's good.
All right. So what else? What other questions we got here?
What
Oh,
other
okay.
AMA? Black Ibis AMA.
Well, we got a question from Fatball that talked about Russian literature. Like she
Oh boy.
wanted us to talk about Russian literature. So, um, well, here we go. Okay. Russian literature. Like I'm sure most people are familiar with Russian literature, and there's
Hmm.
the two titans of Russian literature. When you think of
Yes.
Russian literature, immediately what pops to mind is Dostoevsky and Tolstoy, right?
Right.
Interesting enough, most people tend to like one or the other, right? One of them was a, criminal that got sent to Siberia, came back, became a epileptic gambler, and basically was broke and crazy most of his life. Um, and the other one was a nobleman that lived well into his old age and, you know, did not like the Orthodox Church at all. Now, let's see. I'm going to tell you that the communists liked one of them a lot and did not ban any of his stuff, while the communists did not like the other one. So, ironically, they liked the nobleman. They did not like the the gambler and the degenerate, So, and that they liked Tolstoy. Tolstoy stuff was like very popular with the communists. Maybe because he was a nobleman that denounced the
Gave it
Russian
all up.
nobility, and he
Yeah.
denounced most of his stuff that he wrote about was really screeds against the Orthodox Church in Russia. Um, but Now, I'm gonna have to mention Lisa Lives, all right, because she's always talking about Dostoevsky this and Dostoevsky that, and I think she's an absolute and total retard, right? Or a scam artist, right? And one thing she came across my Instagram feed. I blocked her on Substack, right? So, but she came across my Instagram feed, and she's like books should not be political, you know. And then she's like, books should be like Dostoevsky, and I'm like, what are you talking about, you dumb retard, right? Because Dostoevsky, who's my favorite writer, my favorite 19th century writer, all his books are political. All right, like the one of his greatest books, Demons, is all about politics. All right, like it's like, what are you talking about, woman? Like, it just, you know. But anyways, like, she's not a serious person. And once again, Wikipedia. If she states that she went to Columbia, if that's what Columbia teaches you, I would get my money back. All right, because it's
Yeah.
embarrassing. Her stuff
Yeah.
is cringe as hell. Right, but
Columbia
so
GPT. Very
so
disappointing.
I think when you're approaching the you know when you're approaching the Russian literature, you have to realize it mostly starts in 19th century. It's really some of my favorite literature period, especially like the classics of Russian literature. There's a lot of stuff, but for somebody coming from like a, I guess, normie perspective, I would go with Tolstoy as the first read. And I would go with Anna Karenina. And I think Anna Karenina is a fantastic novel. So the two novels from Tolstoy that are, you know, the mainstays are Anna Karenina and War and Peace, right? War and Peace is a massive novel. It deals with the Napoleonic Wars. It deals with peasants and nobles and how they both fought fought against Napoleon, the disillusionment of Russian nobility towards the West. There's a lot of interesting stuff, but it's kind of a tough. It's a massive book, right? And Anna Karenina, though, is a book that reads much, you know, in a good translation. It's a very good book. It's about uh, it's about love and cheating on your husband and infidelity and like the disasters that you bring into your life with, you know, with all that stuff, you know. And then I recommend you go to Dostoevsky. Now, if you're a cool guy, right? If you're not a normie, I'd go straight to Dostoevsky, which I think is the better writer, a little bit more melodramatic than Tolstoy, but I think his themes are better. And I recommend you. I mean, I think everybody should read The Brothers Karamazov, which is the greatest novel ever written, in my opinion. Um, Crime and Punishment is a masterpiece. Difficult because you're in the head of Raskolnikov, who justifies murdering two innocent people, you know, and the whole book is him walking around murdering, you know, basically he murders two innocent people, and he goes around justifying it, and then he eventually loses his shit, you know. And it's, in a way, like, it's not as, when you read it, you feel like, wow, okay, well, I've seen this plot before. Yeah, yeah, of course you have, because he wrote this in the 19th century, and it's basically been like the blueprint for 20th century fiction, right? Like the idea of like committing a crime and then justifying it is the thought pattern of like every modernist and postmodernist, you know. So like it's revolutionary when you think about it that way, right? And then I recommend everybody reads Demons. Demons is a fantastic novel by Dostoevsky. It's probably it's a bit more difficult than the other two because the topic is basically about a bunch of boomers that encourage like young generation degeneracy, and then they're shocked that young generation degeneracy and revolutionary stuff turns into murder. You know what I mean? And they go,
Hmm.
oops, my bad, you know. So it's basically the current day but set in 19th century Russia. It's like somebody from like you can, I read it in 2020 during the summer of Floyd and COVID and stuff. And the whole time I was like, what? Oh my God. Like, this is what's going on right now. Like this is exactly what's going on. Like all these like stupid, like rich boomers are encouraging this violence and this insanity. And like, it's, and obviously he criticizes it because that's the whole, he does critical. But if you are interested in Dostoevsky as a Orthodox Christian and an Orthodox kind of Christian kind of viewpoint on that kind of stuff, I would recommend reading The Brothers Karamazov, which at its core, is a courtroom drama. It's about a murder and then the trial of the murderer. And it's a mystery. There's a mystery. Like you don't know who murdered the character. And I don't know. It's one of them. It's a masterpiece. It's truly one of the greatest novel, if not the greatest novels ever written. But that's the basic normie response to Russian literature. There's a lot of more stuff, right? Um, there's The Master and Margarita, which is a fantastic book. Have you ever read that?
Which one?
The Master and Margarita.
No, I have not.
Master and Margarita is basically a kind of a Soviet era novel, and it's about shit. It's hard to describe. It's about like there's Satan basically comes to Moscow, right? Himself, Satan, like Lucifer, and he's got like these like servants, and one of them is a giant cat that walks and talks, and it's
Naturally.
really it's an absurd like novel because Satan and these guys are walking around and they're commenting on like the Soviet system, and there's this writer that's trying to run away and this girl looking for him and she turns into a witch and they're riding a broomstick and there's a fucking giant cat and it's just like really insane. It's really good, really out there, right? It's very Russian ironic kind of humor, makes fun of like communism. Supposedly Joseph Stalin really liked it, but so it's pretty interesting. There's Dr. Zhivago, which I think is kind of melodramatic. That's another one that's like written for the like it's about the the communist revolution and he's a white Russian and goes to Siberia and blah blah blah. But what I think, and then there's the recent novel called Laurus, which is actually written by a Ukrainian man, but is written Ukrainian Russian man, Eugene Vodoleskin, and he's probably one of the best writers that's kind of known outside of the Russia Ukraine area in the current like literary world. And Laurus is a book about a holy fool, an Orthodox monk. He's like an Orthodox holy fool walking around the Middle Ages, um, and it kind of like it's a really complicated story, but it's really good. It's really worth reading. You can find reviews about it. But it's called Laurus by Eugene Vodoleskin. He also wrote another novel called The Aviator, which is about a guy that wakes up. He's a pilot or some sort, and like a Soviet pilot, but he wakes up in um, he wakes up in like a bed and he has no memory of how he ended up there, and he's kind of like piecing his life together from like talking to nurses and stuff, and it's really interesting. It's a really interesting novel. And then there's like there's a lot of good Russian stuff. I think American writer and essayist said the Metro series. It's like I've never heard of those. That's a video game. There's a video game called the Metro ones, right? Um,
Hmm.
there's a good way. Like most Russian novels have the same kind of vibe as Andrei Tarkovsky movies. Okay, so if you like don't want to start reading a long Russian novel, just watch an Andrei Tarkovsky movie and watch like Stalker. All right, and you kind of understand the kind of vibe of most Russian brain people. Stalker's a great example of it. Uh, Andrei Rublev, just really anything by any of Andrei Tarkovsky movies. They're all masterpieces in my opinion, and I really recommend it. Um, I see. I've never read Metro, right? So I'm gonna have to grab Metro 2033, right? Um, yeah, I'm not as familiar with like more contemporary Russian stuff. I'm actually a little bit more familiar with like Romanian stuff, a lot of South American stuff, but Russian stuff for some reason I'm not. I know a lot of Japanese contemporary stuff, right? Um, but yeah, that's kind of my Russian thing. Now, I do kind of want to make a note on the Lisa Leib's kind of like literary conversation. there's always these people that are just, I feel like they're constantly embarrassing themselves, or they're kind of like they're grifting on the conservatism, which really irritates me, right? Because what they'll do stuff is like, oh, have you been to Barnes and Noble? It's all gay stuff, blah blah blah, and it's like, okay, like you need to read the stuff before, you know what I mean? Like it's like this doom and gloom stuff, and it's like, okay, well, you're retarded, so I can't take your word for it, right? And even if a book has gay people in it, like it doesn't mean it's bad. You know what I mean, right? Like they never really explain like why a book is bad. They'll say like, "Oh, it's woke." Well, why is it
Right.
woke?
Yeah. Right.
And like you'll have somebody say something like, "Oh, look, all TV's woke right now." Like you see these like it's very boomer coded, right? They go, "Oh, all movies and all TV's woke and blah blah blah." I'm like, well, I don't know. Have you watched White Lotus? All right, White Lotus is made by a gay man, and it criticizes woke. Like the first season criticizes wokies basically, and it criticizes like it literally like addresses the fact that wokies take advantage of like like islanders basically, and then leave them hanging when the real shit hits the fan. Right, and that's what women do. Like it criticizes every aspect of wokeism. Have you seen the White Lotus, the first season?
We started watching it a while back. Yeah.
Oh, dude, I think it's fantastic, and it's made by a gay man, right? And
Yeah.
it has so many characters that like end up like there's Alexandra Daddario is in it, our girl from
Hmm.
True Detective, right? And the whole thing, she's this woke girl, she wants to be a journalist and blah blah blah, but she marries a rich boy and stuff, or rich guy, and he's like, well, you're gonna make like $200 an article working for Gawker or whatever. I mean, he's like
Yeah.
nagging on it. He's a total prick, like a bro or whatever. And she decides she's gonna divorce him and leave him. This is their honeymoon, right?
Yeah. Mm.
And spoiler, because the show's been out for 10 fucking years, right? Um, you know what she does? She's like, oh my god, I don't want to be poor, and she goes back. She puts all her like woke like ideas aside and goes back to her husband because she
I don't
does
want
not
to be
want
poor.
to be poor. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Well,
it's like, like, dude, like, you, but somebody at least lives like, oh, there's a gay person in it or something. But
yes.
people like her are grifters, man. They're not really like, beware, be weary of the conservative slop ecosystem. Okay, like I think we should really like reject that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, for example, there was a TV show not too long ago that you asked me to watch, and I watched it, and it was really quite excellent.
which one was
Made
that?
made by a transsexual Australian.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
Right, you're
The
talking
Amazing
about
Digital Circus.
the Amazing Digital
And
Circus.
yeah, and I had a few people be like, "Oh, you're watching that?" And I'm like,
Right,
"Yeah, you mean the show where the self-insert character gets abstracted and goes
right,
insane because they're
right.
unable to resolve the they're unable to resolve the contradictions inherent within their soul?"
Right.
Yeah. Interesting.
Right.
Interesting.
Right. Exactly. Right. I thought the ending was great, because
Yes.
he basically rejected love, and
Right.
he can never come to grips with it. And he
Right.
knew that. He rejected it from the
He knew that's what he
frog.
was rejecting. Yeah.
Yeah, he rejected it from Pomni, right? And the fact that it is like the biggest nightmare in the world of a
Oh
show,
yeah.
you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
And it's
It- to be honest though, it's just kind of your average Discord. That's what it
right,
was. It was just your
right,
average Discord.
right,
One thing I did enjoy too, and I thought this was worth thinking about more, but how they eventually resolved the conceit is that they were all copies of the real person. They were all copies of the real minds.
hmm
And I thought that was interesting because there's so many people that think online is the quote unquote real world. You go
right,
back to
right,
these bros that are all like, oh, how come you don't use your real face and your real name? And then it's like, you're not using your real face or real name either, dude. Come on. Like
right.
you you could be using your real name and real face on the internet for 20, 25, 30 years. It's nothing like who you really are. Give me a break.
Right. And they realized that like there was a level of acceptance of just what it was.
Right.
They're
That was
like,
yes.
okay, I can put back the past behind me because the past has no meaning anymore because I am not that person. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
there
I,
is
I,
no
I
leaving
think
this place.
yeah, that was an excellent insight because once they accepted what they were, everything became easy.
Right.
And it's when they were trying to be something that they weren't. They thought they were people. They thought they were actual people.
Yeah.
And even the AI, uh, you know, there's a lot of, I think, great truth, and especially what the AI went through. What was the guy's name again?
Kane.
Kane. Yes,
We're talking about the amazing digital circus, by
yes,
the
the
way,
amazing
guys.
digital circus.
So if you get
Um,
lost,
but what Kane went through, Kane, well, he pulled a Cain, right? In the Bible, he murders Abel. In this one, he eats his little AI friend and tries to kind of absorb his powers or whatever.
right,
And it was trying to be more than what he actually was. And then once he accepted, oh no, I'm less than that, and that's fine. Then he
right,
became the best of what he was.
right. And I
Fantastic.
mean, and Jax could not accept what he truly was, you know,
Right. And that's why
and
he abstracted.
he abstracted, you know, and it's really like I was actually really shocked that he abstracted. You know, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I didn't expect that. I thought they were gonna like fix him with the power of love or something like that. They're like, nope.
Right. I thought they were going to pull him out, or somehow.
Yeah,
I did
yeah.
appreciate that they
Save
stuck with it.
him. Yeah, no,
I
he
mean,
he did. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
it's they don't save him, but they figure out how to care for him,
Right,
almost as if like how you
right,
care for the mentally ill.
right. It was interesting how they've accepted their fate in a way. It's very I don't
Right.
know. I thought it was a very smart show, you know,
It really was.
and
It really
I
was.
really enjoyed it. So interesting enough, the last question I'm going to address is Joseph Hirsch
Joseph.
said talk about anime, all right? And I'm like,
Hey, we
okay,
just did.
we just did.
Kind
We'll
of.
talk about animation, but not anime
Yeah.
as in Japanese animation, and oh God, I get a lot of crap from people. People go, "Alex, what do you watch anime? You weeb." I'm like, listen, I used to hate anime. I used to
You
hate
weeb.
anime, man. Like I've
Weeb.
said this, like everybody is making like I have a lot of older friends, and like you know, they're like, "Alex, you used to be such an anime hater. Now you hate like you always like talking about it." I'm like, listen, okay, I ran out of stuff to watch. Okay, I ran out of stuff to watch, and I've decided to give anime a try because my young daughter wanted me to watch Demon Slayer with her, and I realized, wow, this stuff is actually really good. And then I realized, wow, a lot of the anime is actually better than Western movies. And it deals with themes and stuff that you just can't find anywhere in any like Western media. All right. So do I like Dragon Ball Z type anime where they punch each other for like 30 hours for 20 days or whatever? No, not at all. I still don't like that stuff at all. But the medium of like animation goes to really to the next level. And some of the stuff is so good out there. And two the kind of the two main reasons I like it. One, I like watching with my daughter, the stuff that's like appropriate for her to watch. Like I'm not watching Chainsmoker Cat, by the way, which is an insane show where she knocks out her neighbor with a fart and like she smokes a cigarette that she dropped in dog poop, you know. Oh, and there's a cat girl that's shooting up heroin next door, and she walks in on it.
Naturally.
Yeah, but
Very normal.
I'm not watching it with my daughter. But like the idea they can explore stuff. Um, yeah, I don't want to watch Goku build a spirit ball to kill Cell for 15 straight episodes. No, I thought that shit was boring when I was like in middle school, you know? But I did watch like the Demon Slayer Infinity Castle movie, and that was like 3 hours of fighting. Like I was like, dude, I'm so bored of this. But like it was still kind of fun. The animation is really good in Infinity Castle. Not as good as Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man is peak, man. Chainsaw Man is so good. Um, but there's two things that like anime does better than Western media, right? One, it does really good gender roles, and it does really good like good characters and evil characters, and you know in between characters, and it doesn't slip into like woke cliches. Like so much of like it's very hard to go like it's very hard to go back to Western media after watching anime for a while because there's no like you know, in a typical like if you watch a kids cartoon, if I watch a kids cartoon with my daughter, for example, and it's a Western cartoon or even a Western like movie, like animated movie or something like that, the kids are always like smart mouth kids that are like disrespectful to their parents, and the girl is always like the sassy bee that like always wins, and the boys are retarded, you know, that kind of stuff. You know, you don't get that in Japanese anime. You know, it's a very like almost traditional kind of roles Even when like the girls are badass and the males are weaker, you still stick to kind of a traditional kind of vibe. Um, like the women are women and the men are men, and even I mean, there's like transgender dudes and weird gay people and all kinds of stuff, but it all kind of fits into a very realistic thing. It doesn't fake it. I don't know. There's like a lack of like it's not fraudulent. It feels a lot more realistic. And I don't know how to describe it. Like something can be like fake and fantasy, but it can still be true.
Is it
Does that
kind of
make
like,
sense?
yeah, well, it makes me think that the degenerate aspects are observed, not prescribed.
Right. Exactly. Right.
It's part of the world. Like this is actually how things are and actually how people are, especially these days.
Right.
But it isn't necessarily going, this is how it should be.
Right. Right.
Or, it's just straight up propaganda.
Well, like Colton Scott said, Normie Naruto is better than 90% of Western media. No, it's true. It is, and
Yeah.
it's just so much more like pleasant, and I don't know it, but I enjoy it, and that's one reason
You know,
I've been enjoying him.
it's
Like
probably the
Frieren,
difference.
you have you watched Frieren any Frieren at all?
Not yet, not yet. That's on my list of things. But it strikes me what you're describing is it's the difference between hearing a story and hearing a sermon,
Right, right,
especially with Hollywood as our de facto church.
right. And you watch like a lot of Western animation is like, oh my gosh, do I need to see another Batman? I mean, I'm so fucking tired of
Do we
Batman
need
and
to
all
see
these
another
heroes,
Spider-Man?
right? It's like we are completely like intellectually and then creatively bankrupt. There's like nothing
Yeah.
coming.
I
Um,
had a I had a student ask me if I saw the new Spider-Man, and in my mind, that meme like the Vietnam flashbacks, right?
right,
But it was that, but it was just Tobey Maguire.
right.
I was
Like
like,
you
no,
realize
I haven't seen it, bro. I
you
haven't seen it.
realize that like Batman,
I'm not
Superman,
gonna see it.
Catwoman, the Joker, and all these characters were characters written and designed before like our grandparents were born, or like my mom was born,
Yeah,
it's like, dude, I don't care about this anymore. I'm over it. And that, so there's also
yeah.
like a different, like if you watch a lot of like, there's like the more adult anime, right? And if you watch a lot of it, the the writing in it is so. One interesting thing about the anime is that it's very writer focused compared to Western stuff, right? Like
Hmm.
anime comes out of an ecosystem where almost all the anime are originally manga, right?
Right.
And
Yes.
who writes them is really important, right? Like who the writer is, like that's who the celebrity is, okay? And who directs, like so the a show will usually be like a manga, and it'll go on for like many years. It'll be very popular. It'll have like 1 billion downloads on like the digital manga stuff, or like a bunch of sales. They're usually like magazines, like weekly magazines or monthly magazines or whatever, and then they get compiled into the books, the kind of books you buy like at the bookstore, and then eventually they get turned into a manga, right? Into an anime. So by the time that like an anime comes out, it's already has like a fan base, or like people like already know the story, right? And it's like a you know who the writer is, and you go follow anime or manga that is written by this same author, right? And interestingly enough, a lot of the best ones are actually written by women, right? Some of my favorite ones, like Frieren, is written by a woman. Uh, a lot of them are written by women, right? And so they're very writer centric, and the anime tries really hard to stick to what the writer wrote, if that makes sense. You know what I
Hmm.
mean, right? Which you don't get, like, most people don't know who like wrote movies, like the who wrote the Marvel movie, like any Marvel. Do you know? Nobody knows, right? Like it's like there's no like you
They
don't
were
follow
written. They
like
were spawned off the. They were
right.
spawned off the Doom
They're like
Corps.
a committee wrote them,
Yeah, they were spawned by committee.
right. So like yeah, that's the interesting stuff. So there's an artistic element that is lacking in like Western media. Um, and they do some really creative stuff. So I don't know if you guys can see the background here. This is the background from currently what I think is my favorite anime of all time, called Doro Hidoro, right? So it's on Netflix, so you don't even have to have any cool anime apps like whatever, right? But it's on Netflix. It's called Doro, and it is the most insane, creative, like acid trip of a show ever. It's got 2 seasons. There's not done yet. It's still going to have more seasons coming out, but um, it's basically the. I'm gonna try to explain it to you. Okay, it starts off with this guy who has a reptile head. He has a giant lizard head, and he's eating this other guy, right? And there's this place called the Hole, and it's basically Kowloon, like walled city, Hong Kong. It's kind of a crap hole, dude. It looks like a crappy Chinese bum town, right? It's kind of modeled on Kowloon City, and there's like weird mutants and stuff, and just zombies and all kinds of crazy shit walking around, right? And there's this dude. He's this buff guy with a reptile head, right? And he's hanging out with this blonde girl who owns a restaurant called the Hungry Bug, and she makes him gyoza. The problem with him and the people in the hole are humans, but these guys called sorcerers come from a different like plane of existence. They come from this like weird gothic European city, and they practice their magic on these locals and turn them into like monstrosities, and weird shit happens, and all this like the city's kind of like polluted by the byproduct of this magic, right?
Hmm.
And somebody turned the main character's name is Kaiman, right? Somebody turned his head into a like a alligator head, like a lizard head, right? And
Sure, like you do.
he's and inside his throat lives a human. And so when he puts a sorcerer in his mouth, the human goes, "You're the one, or you're not the one," because he's trying to figure out who did it to him, and he's trying to figure out who he is because he has no memory. He just, you know. So him and this girl, they go on these the kind of insane adventures through the sorcerer world. You find out that sorcerers are basically built by the devils who live in hell, who inject a tumor that's the shape of a little tiny devil into their brains that gives them their powers, and they have this smoke, and they have these glands in their fingers and their like liver that like create the magic. A lot of violence happens. It's just the most insane. It's Have you ever seen the movie Heavy Metal, the heavy metal cartoon from like the late 70s, 80s? Do you remember that one?
Yeah, vaguely, but
Right.
like hyperviolence.
Hyperviolent. It looks like
Yeah,
heavy metal.
yeah,
The art is inspired by like Slipknot videos and like 90s metal stuff. It looks
yeah.
crazy as all fuck, right? It looks like heavy metal, the magazine, but it is one of the best shows I've ever watched. Why? Because I'm watching it and I'm like, what the hell is going on, dude? Right? Like,
Yeah.
what am I watching? Like, and the plot makes perfect sense, and it's funny and violent, but also funny, and like it's deep because there's like friendships between characters. Uh, there's just like there's this one guy who his powers are to like basically dissect somebody into like pieces, but they still stay up, right? Like they still stay alive, even though he like sushis them, and he puts them in like trash bags, and he like that's how he takes them around. And this other girl's like, "Oh, let me look in the bag," and then she throws up in the bag, and it's just like
What? I'll have to check
it's
that out. I'll have to check that
it's
out.
insane. So if you have Netflix, watch it. Okay. Now, for guys that don't watch anime at all, I highly recommend that there's a rule to anime watching, right? You have to watch like the first 3 episodes, because
Yeah.
one thing about anime is that it doesn't so much American media is made for retarded people nowadays, right?
Right.
And
Yep.
they fully admit that it's made for retarded people, right? Like if you listen to like if you like look in like writers' rooms or the kind of stuff that Netflix and HBO is putting out now, which oh my God, HBO, has there ever been a fall from grace of quality? HBO used to be peak and now it's just trash. But have you ever heard of the idea of the second screen?
Second screen. No.
Okay, so a lot of a American television writing uses this thing called the second screen principle, right? So it assumes that
Oh,
the
that you're looking at
viewer
something
is
else.
looking at their cell phone
Oh
or doing
no.
something else,
I,
right?
I feel I feel called out.
So basically, it assumes that. So it has to dumb down everything so you can like understand what's going on while scrolling at the same time, right? So literally,
Ugh.
like they want your media, your entertainment to be extra retarded, right? And you don't get that in Japanese stuff, right? Like
No, they don't
they
give a shit.
like yeah, like it goes hard and like you don't get it,
Yeah.
well, that's your problem.
Sucks to
Rewind it.
suck. Skill issue.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I respect that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you watch like the latest season of Stranger Things, it was a
Oh yeah.
great example of the second screen thing where every 5 minutes, the characters would go into this retarded exposition and remind you exactly what they're doing, what they're thinking. You know, they're just it was all just telling. Like they're like, oh, remember when the Demogorgon came out? Now we're going to do this. We're going to do this and this and this, and this is why we're
Remember
going
when
to
we
do
told
this.
you that? So they're doing
Yeah,
the Dragon Ball Z thing where you watch the same thing over and over for 15 episodes straight in
right,
case you missed it.
right.
Ugh.
So yeah, so a lot of like I just don't have the patience for that, right?
Yeah.
So for like just like I said, I gave some ideas of like what like what to read if you want to get into Russian literature. I do recommend starting with Dostoevsky. If you want to get into anime, and what I'm really enjoying is Dorohedoro. It's my favorite one, period. Uh, Definitely Chainsaw Man. If you haven't seen like these are like the peak new ones, man. If you haven't seen Chainsaw Man, you are wrong. Chainsaw Man is amazing.
You are
Um,
wrong.
you are so wrong. Chainsaw Man is great. It's
You are
about a
incorrect.
guy that turns into he gets chainsaws for hands and he fights people with them. Okay, and
Yeah, man.
he's got this friend named Power who's a blood demon who refuses to bathe or flush the toilet. Okay, all right,
Yeah.
she's amazing. Um,
It's like Army of Darkness, but double plus good because there's two chainsaws.
yeah, for like the hardcore like anime people, I just finished watching Neon Genesis Evangelion. All right, uh, it's good. It's good. It's very 90s. You know, Genji like being a weirdo and like creeping up on Asuka while she was passed out or whatever, and it's good. I also started watching Ergo Proxy. I said that Ergo Proxy is like a cyberpunk kind of anime. The cyberpunk anime itself is fantastic, and the new season's coming out like next month, I think, or the month after. So we're gonna have to do an episode. It's gonna be on Netflix, so you gotta watch it. We'll do a whole episode on the new cyberpunk. You've seen the old one, right? The old anime.
Sorry, say it one more time.
Have you seen the original cyberpunk anime?
The original? No, I
The
haven't.
one you haven't seen it? Okay, you should go watch it.
No.
It's
Okay.
it's uh it's on Netflix. It's cyberpunk. It's an anime. It's made by a Japanese studio, but it's CD Project Red like worked on it. It's really dark. It's complete. It's a prequel to the game.
Got it. Okay. Wait. Well, wait. You're not talking about Edge Runners, right?
Edge Runners, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. No, dude. I told you
Oh,
about that.
yeah,
Yeah. Of
duh.
course, I
Okay,
saw
yeah.
that.
You told me. Yeah, I'm like,
I
what
was
am I?
like, is this some special thing that, like, from the '80s that I don't know about?
No, no, no. So there's a
It's like, man, I told you about that.
yeah. The second season comes out next month, I think, or the month after.
Yeah, I heard about that. I heard about
Yeah.
that.
So we'll do an episode on that. If you like Edge Runners, you would like Dorohedoro. Like
Yeah.
you like, dude, you go watch Dorohedoro, like blow your mind. Um,
Yeah.
Ergo Proxy is really good. I just watched the first few episodes. It's kind of a Blade Runner ish kind of thing. And then what else? I started watching this silly one called High Rise. It's about this. I just watched the first episode, and it's about this girl that she's stuck in this weird, like she's a little schoolgirl, and she's stuck in this world where like it's just you're on high rises and they're connected, but you can't leave the high rise, but you can go from like suspension bridge, and there's like and there's these guys wearing masks trying to kill her. Colin Scott asks, is there any 2077 books from the 80s? There is not, but I mean, from the 80s, you can read. Okay, like if you're into cyberpunk, the genre, might as well start with the cyberpunk novel, the one that invented the genre, which is, Neuromancer. And you can read Neuromancer, and it's two sequels. They're like not true sequels. They're like the same world, but not like connected in any way. Neuromancer is the key. There's Snow Crash, which is like another kind of cyberpunk kind of novel. You can, if you want to get into like the more gamey stuff, there's like a lot of Shadowrun novels, which are kind of cyberpunk, but there's like magic and shit involved. There's some cyberpunk 2077 novels written like recently, like kind of like around the game world, but they're not very good. I don't think. I tried reading one and I was like, it's not really my cup of tea. But if you like reading like tie-in media, it might be good. But I think the best kind of cyberpunk stuff, if you really like just jonesing for that cyberpunk kind of crapsack world, is to read Neuromancer and the William Gibson stuff. And then
Yeah.
I do recommend like reading stuff like watching like uh well, it's Neuromancer, not a movie was announced. It's an Apple TV show, and I saw the preview for it. It looks all right. I will. I don't want to say it looks great or bad. It looks all right. At least they made Case a White Guy, which I was shocked that they made Case a White Guy. But of course, they made Molly Millions like some kind of not white person. Which, like I said, like the one thing about like the genre of like cyberpunk, it's like it can be kind of woke or it can look
Yeah,
woke
it's
because
not that big of a deal. Yeah, it's all
yeah,
transhuman. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
it's all transgender
it's
crap anyways, right? So like it's a
right.
genre that I'm okay with, like chicks with dicks and stuff like that. It makes perfect
Yeah,
sense in that world,
yeah,
because it usually shows the like yeah, of course, then you end up a freaking cyber psycho. I
yeah.
think Colton Scott, if I ever dabble with biopunk, I think biopunk is gay. I think any of the other punk stuff is just gay. Like steampunk is absolutely gay. I cannot stand it. It pisses me off. Everything about it like makes me angry. People that were into the steampunk, I just want to punch them in the nuts. Like I hate them. Um, I hate like
Yeah, I never got the appeal.
I
I
hate
never
when
really
people
got the
like
appeal.
add like cyberpunk works great because it's like punk is like really trashy losers, living in like
Yeah,
like this like the grimy losers, right? And then like uh cyber because it's like deals with like cyber, technology, the net, like implants and stuff. So it makes sense.
yeah,
But then you're like steampunk and it's Professor fucking retardo, it's like shut up, dude. Like get the fuck out of here. I hate you,
yeah.
or
Also,
like
Japan exists. If you want cyberpunk, you just go to Asia, and it's like,
right,
oh, neat.
right, right.
Steampunk?
I
Nah,
mean,
nah. Ain't nobody
I,
fucking doing that.
I don't know. I guess Doro Hidoro is kind of like a not really cyberpunk. There's no like cyber. It's like magic punk or whatever. But I just kind of hate that whole. It's
Yeah.
like grime punk. Snow Crash.
Well,
Snow Crash was cool. Snow Crash has hero protagonist, and it's an interesting kind of '90s cyberpunk novel. Um, I really like. I think there's a lot of like good anime, like Ghost in the Shell. There's Akira.
yeah.
Uh,
There you go.
and anime has a lot of like cyberpunk type stuff. I would say
Yeah.
Ergo Proxy, but I haven't finished it. There's a few other ones that are like from the 2000 era that kind of kept it. I don't think The Matrix is cyberpunk. I think The Matrix looks like cyberpunk, but is not true cyberpunk. It doesn't really deal with. I think, I think the movie. I think the movie Demolition Man with Sandra Bullock and Sylvester Stallone is more cyberpunk than The Matrix because it deals with like the real world. The Matrix is too outside the real world for it to really count as cyberpunk, in my
Yeah, it's
opinion.
more science fiction. It's too
It
much
is more
science
science
fiction.
fiction. It's more far out there. Um,
Yeah, because with cyberpunk, the reality they inhabit, that is actually reality.
right, right. And I think that Demolition Man is the most. It's it's the evil Democrat future, man. It's like that. It's probably the most out of all the future prediction movies, the Demolition Man predicted everything the best because our world has become like annoyingly fake and gay. You know what I mean, right? Like you can't smoke, you can't do anything. You're nobody like is allowed to even have sex anymore. It's just completely fake and gay, and
Isn't that
that's
the
what
one with Taco Bell in it? Taco
yeah, with
Bell
the one
reigns
Taco Bell
supreme.
in it, right? Demolition
Yeah.
Man was a masterpiece. And I think Sandra Bullock is hot or was
Are we
hot
gonna
back.
do Are we gonna do a Demolition Man episode? Because I missed the Total Recall episode.
Yeah, let's do it. Hey, like Lisa needs
Demolition Man.
to. Does Lisa like Demolition Man? I'm sure she's seen
Of course
Demolition
she
Man.
does. It's Lisa. Are you kidding?
Right.
She's probably watching it right now.
Yeah.
She just has it on.
Judge
Oh,
Dredd.
Judge Dredd.
The
That would be
Sylvester
cool.
the Sylvester Stallone Judge Dredd was pretty good. I actually think that the recent one was really good. The one where he's basically in like Kowloon like high rise, and like he's like what I'm talking about? It's with the guy that played the new Bones, right? And the bad guy, Carl Urban, right? Carl
Yeah,
Urban.
Carl Urban.
And the bad guy was Cersei from Game of Thrones. She was the bad guy in that one. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love
Oh,
Escape from New York and LA. We still have
see,
to
these
do
are
a
some,
Big Trouble
yeah,
in Little China episode where we have to bring a
yes,
librarian
yeah,
back
man.
because
I
he
would
wrote that
love a
great
Big China
article.
episode. I would
Yeah,
love a Big Trouble episode.
right.
Yeah, we got
But
to do some more movie episodes. I think Demolition Man would be a great one to start with, and then
yeah,
you can get
Demolition's great.
Librarian
Yeah,
scheduled.
we'll schedule that one, right? Demolition
Yeah.
Man's great. Like I said, I think it like captured. That's one that like it's got that's the one with the three seashells. You're like, what's the three seashells or whatever? Or nobody told them about the three seashells. It's got Wesley Snipes in it. It's so good.
Oh man,
It's like Wesley Snipes, like you know,
Pete
playing,
Snipes.
yeah, Peak Snipes playing like Dennis Rodman basically as a character. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, another great movie from that era that's like really peak is Fifth Element, right, or Sixth Element or whatever.
Oh,
Fifth Element, yeah, Fifth
Fifth
Element,
Element.
right?
Fifth
That's a
Element would be a
great,
great episode.
it's a great movie. You know, it's
Yeah.
very
No,
interesting.
I've always
One of
liked
my
that movie.
favorite movies.
It's a good
And
one.
I feel like it. You know, it was kind of around the same era ish. Demolition Man and the Fifth Element, kind of
Yeah, probably.
same kind of era.
Yeah, it well, it's that era. It's that era of just very colorful, almost circusy science fiction,
Right, right. Well,
and
Fifth
it's
Element is
just
interesting because it was based off of a lot of European comic book
yeah.
vibes, and
What
I
was that
think it was
Morpheus guy, right? Or no,
right
Mobius.
Mobius, yeah,
Mobius.
and that's
Yeah.
what it was. A lot of like the vibes, and I think it was like a joint French studio and that kind of stuff. So it
You
had
know
that
what's
like
funny? I had a short Mobius phase ages ago. This kind of blows my mind, and this is sort of some deep lore. But he did a Halo comic once.
hmm,
Like Bungie did like this really super limited edition, like 4 comics and like a graphic novel, and Mobius did one of them. And if you could imagine like Fifth Element as a Halo comic, it's like
that's
what?
wild.
It was
Well,
good. I mean, it was cool.
well,
And everybody was like, "We can't believe we got Mobius to do a fucking Halo comic."
so
But
if
anyway,
you like that like kind of crazy like
yeah,
Mobius vibe,
yeah, I love that.
You will like Doro Hidoro. That's kind of what it looks like. And it has that
Yeah, all
feeling of
right,
like
cool, cool,
that
cool.
weird, like kind of like what the hell is going on
It's kind of
here,
like
you know?
it's like it's barely holding together for
Right,
like it
everything's falling
does, but
apart. Like it,
yeah,
yeah, it's like psychedelic at the same time. There's like
it's gonna melt.
mushrooms.
Like
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
melt
that's
away.
exact. Yeah, so if you like that Doro Hidoro, it's on
All
Netflix.
right.
It's freaking mad. It's amazing. It's one of those things where you're like, okay, I see exactly why like anime is out there and then like
Is
peak.
it?
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
And of course, I do recommend like Frieren, and you know, Frieren's like the more like fantasy story kind of basic thing, but it's like
yeah.
deep, you know?
You just
Um,
gave me a good idea. You just gave me a good idea. So one thing I was able to do this year, for school is my wife. They were moving offices, so I was able to score a bunch of furniture. So I've added a couch, like 2 nice big chairs, and an electric fireplace to
hmm,
my
I
to my
saw
room.
you showed me a
Yeah, I sent you
picture.
that
I liked
picture.
it.
But I can probably set up. I could probably set up. So I have an ottoman or like a footrest, an ottoman, or I don't know what you call it, but um, I could probably set that up as like a TV stand or like a laptop stand, and then watch anime on my break
There
or
you go.
after work, and just like throw something on, and then
Right.
actually get through this stuff. Because like now that I'm back at school, I'm a lot more likely to actually look at things and not just you know rot. So
Right.
that'll be fun. And then if some of it's cool, I can be like, hey kids, you want to watch a guy with chainsaw for arms? Let's go.
Want to watch some? Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of rated R-ish.
I'm
Gotta
teasing,
be
I'm
careful
teasing,
with a
but
lot of
yeah,
this stuff.
no, I know.
Yeah.
I have a strict
I
no
mean,
felony policy, so don't worry about that.
they're at high school. In the chat, Johnny is asking, what was that 80s cartoon Fifth Element pulled a lot of elements from? And it's heavy metal, right? It is heavy metal. And
Yeah,
heavy metal, so it was an 80s movie, right? But that's not what it's really from. It's from this magazine called Heavy Metal, right? And in Europe it was called Metal Hurent. And it's basically this like really crazy art comic magazine. Um, it just like it was wild. This is wild stuff. Like look up Heavy Metal magazine or Metal Hurent magazine, and a lot of Mobius did a lot of art for it. Um, I'm probably Lisa spelled it right, but I might not be saying it. Metal Hurlant, which I guess it means heavy metal, but it had a bunch of crazy stuff in it. It's very like a unique art style and a unique art vibe. And Dorohedoro, like Lisa, if you like that's what Dorohedoro takes from also. So it has that exact kind of insane like look. Um, the movie, the 80s movie Heavy Metal was kind of an anthology movie. It's like four or five stories that were kind of different styles, and they're all tied together by this evil orb that when this evil orb comes to where you are, it turns it into like crap, like right. And there's like this great one where it's like bombers flying, like World War II bombers flying, dropping bombs or whatever, and the orb kind of flies down, and all the pilots turn into like zombies and shit and crash, and it's really great stuff. There's like this weird like space alien one. There's like a hot girl like Red Sonja flying on like the this like weird dragon, and she's fighting like freaking mutants, and like it's just really crazy stuff, man. It's worth watching. It's it's out there. It reads like
You said
a
it's got just the two
pervy like
seasons. Sorry.
Dorohedoro only has two seasons. Yeah, yeah.
Right. Right. Okay.
Um, But yeah, I highly recommend Dorohedoro. If you haven't watched Heavy Metal the movie, watch that. That's an American. It's not anime. It's an American French. Oh, and I'm sorry. It's a French American a Canadian combination, I think. And then if you Google Heavy Metal magazine or Metal Hurlant or whatever, you'll see a bunch of Mobius art. A quick thing, you guys know Brad Kelly. He uses that his
Mm.
little icon or whatever. That's a Mobius drawing, like the little like dude sitting like in the like he's like a soothsayer kind of like magician kind of guy. That's actually a Mobius art. That's a famous one. Um, you'll see it. He did a lot of stuff for like Dune also, so a lot of stuff looks like Dune. It's really cool stuff though. But man, Mobius is the shit. Um, all right, so definitely, if you're not familiar with that stuff, look it up. It's good stuff, man. Like it's out there, crazy. Back when Americans used to be interesting, um, and
Hmm.
I definitely recommend Dorohedoro. But I will call it a night tonight because I got to put my daughter to sleep because I got to take her to school tomorrow. How exciting is that?
Woo!
She's gonna go start
Good
school again.
times.
Like what the good thing is like now she'll be able to go to bed early, so I can actually like have time to like watch shows and stuff after she falls asleep.
Nice.
Um, All right, guys. So good night. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. We covered all the questions. I hope so. We did go on a nice liquor diversion, right? We discussed books and anime and Russian literature and yeah, all the good stuff. All right. So thanks, guys. Please, when we do put out this episode, oh, you know what? I'm not going to tell you, Lisa. I'm just not going to tell you. Not yet. All right. I'll talk about that when I'm more ready. We've been going on for 3 hours, dude. Oh, two.
Just
I would
two.
do more today. I would do more today, but I do got to put my daughter. Well, you know what? I'll talk about my book next time. Okay, we'll talk about my book next time. All right. It's about the South Pacific, all right, and shamanism. Um, but
The
yeah,
Alexandria Fever Dream.
yeah,
Can't wait.
it's basically the Magic Mountain, but in the South Pacific. That's actually a good way to describe how the Magic Mountain in the South Pacific, or the Magus. But yeah, definitely like go ahead and like watch Dorohedoro. I recommend it. Watch heavy metal, or look up the art. It's fantastic. I'll post some of the art actually. I'll post some art
Yeah, man.
stuff. But
Throw it up
um,
there.
for you, Fisto, and for Lisa and Colton, everybody, Netflix Dorohedoro. It's about a lizard, and he's
Yes.
trying to figure out who turned him into a lizard. But it's so much more. It's so much more. And for Colton, enjoy 2077. Judy is the proper girlfriend, not Panem. Okay, Judy Artho, be a vitalist, right?
No.
I think Dorohedoro is not on Crunchyroll. Maybe in Canadian Crunchyroll, but I don't think it's an American Crunchyroll. I think Netflix has it kind of locked down. Um, all right, my dudes, you guys have a wonderful night. I will see you next week. Good night,
See you
everybody.
guys.